All right, gosh, where do I start?
Straight out of the thrift store, looking for toys galore. My name is Burf and this is my turf. I'm straight out of the thrift store.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Burf, and I'm here in the middle of my toy room at Casa del Burf. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you a tour of my toy room. I'm gonna show you my collection. A lot of people have been asking for this video over the last few months, and one guy in particular has been really persistent. Da Baby, gonna give him a shout out. It's because of his persistency of constantly asking me, when are we gonna get that tour of the toy room, bro? That I've decided to do this video right now. I've put it off for way too long. I will tell you, I'm a man of my word. So if I tell you I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I always don't get it done the second I say that I'm gonna do it, but I do get it done. So I get her done, man. So let's get started. It's enough of me talking. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. I got a lot of great content for you. I do a lot of toy hunts and I involve my family in the episodes, and it's just a lot of fun, and I do videos like this as well. So hey, it's like I said, enough of me talking. Let's get to the toy hunt, or not toy hunt, the toy tour. That's what you're here for. So let's rock and roll, baby. All right, gosh, where do I start? I guess we'll start front and center, and then what we'll do is we'll go around the room. And then I got a few other things to show you that are not in this room. So I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. I'll try to, make it as quick as possible without depleting any of the value from it, because I know you guys wanna see the collection, but I also don't want this to turn into like an hour-long video, so, because there's so much to go through. So first up, as you guys know, in a lot of my videos, I talk about how I love military toys, military vehicles, G.I. Joe, the Corps, Soldier Force, that sort of thing. Well, this is just some of my collection right here. This is everything you see here was actually found in a thrift store. So except for this dude right here and this guy right down here. So these are both Core action figures. They're vintage. My brother, Jason, he's Retro's 80s toys. That's Retro 80s toys on Instagram, if you guys want to give him a follow. But he gifted those to me. So you can see I've got all kinds of vehicles here. Boats, helicopters, Jeeps, armored tanks, so lots of stuff. So this right here, this is also this missile launcher is something I also found in a thrift store. I found it at Thrift Giant, and I absolutely love this thing. It actually makes noise. Let's see if I can push this. And then this right here, I'm not gonna do it, but it'll launch the missile. And I did that accidentally in the car when I first found it. I was like, what's this button doing? I pushed on it and it whoosh, boom, and it like smacked all the way across the side of the car up against the door. So, but anyway, let's see, what do we got here? We've got these figures here. These are Core Elite. I actually picked these up recently, I think back in January or February over at the Stonebriar Mall. There's a little toy store over there. So I got these figures. I actually got those to open up. I just haven't opened them up yet. I wanted to do a video where I opened them on camera. Then we have this G.I. Joe tank right here. And then my man, Sergeant Slaughter. Dude is a total boss. And this is, I think his name is Bengala. And he is a Core action figure. And then we got the Special Force tank, which this thing also makes noise. I love that. So And then this dude right here, I also found him in a thrift store. Both of these were actually found in a thrift store. Both of them were found at Thrift Giant. Same with this Jurassic World battle damage dinosaur. And Boba Fett. This guy's actually pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull him up here.
Oh, it's no good to me, Dave. As you wish.
Yeah, so he's really
what
super
if he doesn't
cool.
survive? He's worth a lot to me.
All right, so that is
What if he doesn't survive?
Boba Fett.
He's worth a lot to me.
There we go. And then we got this viewfinder with Beetle Bailey, cartridges, films. And then we got this little guy down here. We got Wally. So I got him at Thrift Giant. I'm gonna turn him on here. So he's super cool. I really dig him. So actually, we'll start back here. So these are some recent thrift store finds that I found. And the reason these guys are over here is because I currently have them listed on eBay. So I'm trying to flip these guys and just have them kind of sitting off to the side here until I sell them. So, and if I don't sell them on eBay soon, I'll probably try Facebook Marketplace. Then down here, this was a recent find as well. Pistol crash test dummy. This is from, I believe, this was 2004 is what this series was from. I actually have some vintage ones right here. These are from the 1990s. And then got these guys, they're more recent as well. You can find these guys in Target, actually. I just thought they were really cool. We've got an Optimus Prime. And
prepare to fight. Autobots, transform and roll out. One shall stand, one shall fall.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I am Optimus Prime.
Yes, you are. And then we also got Bumblebee.
Charge!
The Decepticons can strike at any time. Are you ready to rock?
Nice. So got the Transformers
Sword deployed.
King Kong. This is one of the latest ones that just came out. And then I've got my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, these are all recent purchases from Target. Speed Racer. This is vintage, 1990s, I believe. And then I have the Speed Racer M.U.S.C.L.E. And I had this little Marvel dude, and he fit perfect down in there. So he's driving the M.U.S.C.L.E. And then over here, I've got my Imaginext Playsets. So we've got the Arkham Asylum, and there's Two-Face, and then the Dark Knight himself. And you can see I've got there's Hulk. This was a different Hulk. I had not seen one. I guess he's supposed to have like frozen, maybe Dr. Freeze froze over his arms or something like that, I guess. I'm not 100%, but that was my guess on it. Then here is the Joker. And let's see, can we get down low here? Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, check him out. He's got that shit-eating grin on his face. And then here's Harley Quinn. And I just found this Scorpion vehicle just like a week and a half ago at Thrift Target, Thrift Giant. And then back here we've got the Joker's hideout. And then we've got Gotham City Jail. And down here, I've got this vintage box of that would have had where you would have purchased Mad trading cards. So I picked that up at an antique shop over in Louisville. We've got Spider-Man in his car, and all of these figures right here, every single one of them found in a thrift store. Like all of this stuff back here, except for like the TMNT stuff and like the MOTU down there and then the King Kong, everything else was found in a thrift store. And then I've got some Power Rangers. Oh, look at that Vader. It's big. Oh, that looks cool. That looks so cool. All right, so we've got these Megazords here as well. And then we're not going to be able to get back in there, but I do have some toys tucked away back in there. Those are vintage Donkey Kong toys on that back shelf. And then there's vintage GoBots like directly behind them. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that red light makes it kind of funky. But yes, so those are some vintage back there. And then up here on the shelves, I've got some TMNT, some Back to the Future. These dudes up here. And now we're gonna take a look at this shelf. And actually, before we do that, let's just go down and take a little closer look at Vader. Oh yeah. So here is an 18-inch Darth Vader. And then we've got Poe over here. And then we have this Imaginext Power Rangers. Let's see if I can get this. It's a Power Ranger playset. Let me see if I can get this thing to glow. Oh yeah. This set is so cool because of the way it glows. And when the lights are turned out completely, it's just so badass. And this was like a vintage Mickey that I found at Craptastic Sam's. And then we've got Robo Force. This is 100 and Max Steel. Those are vintage 1980s. And then down here on this shelf, we've got more tanks and hovercraft and some dinosaurs and soldiers. And this is what I have of my M.U.S.C.L.E collection, which is also vintage 1980s. Just love 80s toys. We're gonna actually start getting into more of the vintage part of my collection right now. So we'll go down one more shelf. So these are vintage real Ghostbusters, except for the Slimer. He is the modern, the 2020 Slimer, but the rest of these in here are vintage 1980s real Ghostbusters. This Egon right here, it's very hard to find him without a broken tie. The tie is almost always snapped off. So I'm proud to have an Egon that has a good tie. And then I also have my Dick Tracy collection. This is also vintage. And then over here, we're starting to get into my vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collection. We've got a little mixture of both vintage and modern toys in here. These are my Transformers. This is my Transformer section. So these are the more modern toys. And we've got a little vintage 1980s here. And then this is a Voltron. And then if we come down here, we get out of the more modern and into the vintage. So we have some vintage 1980s Captain Power. And then we have some vintage GoBots. Now that dude right there, he is not a GoBot, but I've got them mixed in there with them. But these are all vintage GoBots. And then in the back here, we've got Flash Gordon and Ming the Merciless. And then I've got my vintage Optimus Prime. And there's Scooter. Leader 1. Jeeper Creeper. Tux. This is where I keep a lot of my miniatures. These are also vintage 80s. They're called Muscle Men. And they were real big for a few years. And then we've got some vintage Smurfs here in the background with Gargamel, Astronaut Smurf, Handy Smurf, Clockwork Smurf. We've got Richie Rich, Garfield. There's some wind-up Smurfs in the back. There's a Jack-in-the-Box toy, some wind-up Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Snorks, some Power Rangers. There's the Noid, Strawberry Shortcake, Army Ants. And I think these were called Battle Beasts. I used to, the lion, I had his weapon, but I accidentally broke it in half. And then we've got some of these guys, the Minions. Little Judge Dredd action right here. And then these guys back here, they are called Guts. These guys are called Guts, G.U.T.S. So we've got some Guts, and then we've got the scuba gear guys. They're also Guts. And then we got a little Heathcliff action, some Bambi, Winnie the Pooh. then I've got my Heathcliff books. All right, so I'm gonna start down on the bottom deck and we'll work our way up this time. A lot of these are just more modern toys. Again, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's some 12-inch G.I. Joes that I found in a thrift store. And this is where I keep a lot of my Marvel figures in DC Comics. So a lot of Spider-Man stuff. I like Spider-Man. We've got Scooby-Doo, Captain Caveman, little Beetlejuice, some more M.O.C.L.E. and M.U.S.C.L.E. Batman and the Boy Wonder. Here's some Street Sharks cards, never opened. Here's some of my G.I. Joe collection. And then we're getting into more of my Joes. These are all vintage 80s Joes. These He-Man comics, these are vintage as well. I bought some of those at Jaden's Toys over in Frisco. And back over here to the Marvel. That Rhino, that's the first action figure toy I ever found in a thrift store, and I found it at Goodwill. It's the very first action figure I ever picked up. Up next, more vintage 80s for your viewing pleasure. We've got the A-Team, Hannibal, B.A., Faceman, and Murdoch. Thundercats, Black Panther, King Kong, and Godzilla. And if we go over to this shelf, over here we've got Street Sharks. This one right here, it's hard to find him with his mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is missing a lot of times. I was able to pick this up at a vintage toy store. I think he's super cool. Another Street Shark, two of them back there. And then we got this bootleg Superman that I absolutely fell in love with. I had to have him. He was just so ugly. I was just like, dude, that is awesome. So he's got red arms. And then we got JYD, Junkyard Dog, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Randy Macho Man Savage, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant here in the back. Let's see if I can get a little closer. The lighting's not that good. The Iron Sheik. Nikolai Volkov is back there as well. There he is. Come on out, Nicholas. Nikolai. And then we've got Chuck Norris and the Ninjas. These guys are cool, man. I had these as a kid. Just hours and hours, days and days of fun months and months. Just loved that line. It's so cool. Me and my brother used to have them. And then we've got these thumb wrestlers. First time I picked these up, I bought them on eBay and got them, and did a video of me and Caroline having our first ever thumb wrestling match. Might have to post that video. We've got more core, soldier force, that sort of stuff. We've got these military vehicles. There's a carded Murdoch A-Team. We've got the core. This right here needs to be fixed. There we go. All right, now we got it fixed. This dude right here, this King Kong, he is so badass. And I actually got him at the first vintage toy show I ever went to. Actually, I shouldn't say vintage, just the first toy show. It was just a toy show, but they had vintage there. This guy is not vintage, but I saw him. And it was the same day I think I got the Street Sharks. But I saw him and I was just like, oh my God, I have to have that. He's so like freaking huge. So I've got my military guys trying to tank. Yeah, they're trying to tank Kong. Trying to take him down. So I was able to take this drone and put it in his hands. You know, a little more modern warfare type stuff. So, and then up here on the back, I'll see if I can zoom in on this. These are the retro play He-Man figures. So I've got the first wave and the second wave. And there's also a Macho Man World, the Masters of the World Wrestling, of the WWE, whatever. So that's the rest of my collection up there. That He-Man camera, what's funny is that I think I saw that junk man do a video talking about like some of the lamest toys ever made. And I saw the video and I was like, man, I have to have that. Like, he might think that's lame, but I think it's cool as hell. So I ended up purchasing it on eBay. There was only one of them. And I picked it up, I snagged it. All right, moving on over here. This is part of my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collection. And then this down here is my shelf that's primarily dedicated to Pac-Man. However, not only do I have some Garbage Pail Kids mixed in here, but I also, see if I can lift this up. There we go. But my Silverhawks, these are my most prized toys, these two right here. Copper Kid and Lieutenant Jonathan Quick. I absolutely love these figures. They're gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. Just so shiny. And it's hard to find these guys without the paint wore off their face. And even their armor, the paint is oftentimes rubbed off on it. So it's really hard to find figures in this good of condition. And you'll pay to get them in this condition as well. But I wouldn't trade these guys for anything. These are part of my collection for a lifetime. What Caroline decides to do with them, that's up to her, but they are my most prized toy. And then down below here, we've got my vintage Masters of the Universe collection. So this is a vintage Orko. And then we've got Stridor, Fist store. And this Stridor right here, this was actually gifted to me by Dynamite 80s Toys. So you can follow his YouTube channel or follow him on Instagram as well. Really cool guy. Loves vintage 80s. We've got He-Man. And then back there in the back, we've got Trapjaw and Evil Lynn. And then this dude here, I can't remember what line he's from, but he was actually, like, if you look, he has a mechanical arm, just like Trapjaw. And it is said that he was actually, that this figure, that Trapjaw was based off of this figure. So I think this figure was actually from like the 1970s. I might be wrong on that, but that's what's kind of coming back to my memory at the moment. Might have to double check myself on that. Then we've got Man-at-Arms, and we've got Ram Man. And then I've got like these little minis. There's Mechaneck. And then we've got the Dukes of Hazzard with Boss Hogg and Uncle Jesse. Over here, the Duke boys actually behind the wheel, Bo and Luke Duke. We've got Daisy Duke, and I actually have doubles of Bo. So he's sitting up here as well. He's on the other side driving the car. And Michael Mercy actually gave me a heads up on this vehicle. In one of his videos, he was showing that this is the General Lee that he purchased for his figures. So I contacted him through Instagram and asked him, I'm sorry, not Instagram, through his Facebook group, and asked him what size and model to get, and he recommended it, and that's how I ended up with my General Lee. So thank you, Michael Mercy, for doing that video, because I absolutely love this vehicle. And then we've got Vintage A-Team here in the back. Faceman, BA, Murdoch, and Hannibal. And then over here we have Vintage Indiana Jones. And there's Marion Ravenwood. And this little monkey. This little guy right here. You would not believe how much I had to pay to get this monkey. It was crazy. It's the most money I've ever spent for something that small. Let's just put it that way. And there's Belloc in both his garb and back there with Marion. Indy in the back. He has his arm is like a whip action. So he has his whip, and his arm can it's like spring loaded. And then here is Indiana Jones again, dressed as a Nazi soldier. And he's got his bazooka, just like in the movie. And there's Tote. And there is the vintage version on the right, carded, and the more modern version on the left. So we're down to the bottom shelf, and everything you see here, again, was found in a thrift store. This dude right here, I remember the day I found him. I can't remember who he is or what he's from. Oh my God, like, I went nuts in the store. I actually have it on video. Like, I was so excited. It was like the biggest figure I had ever found. And didn't even find him in the toy section. He was like in the home decor section. And then we've got more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then here's some vintage G.I. Joe that I found in a thrift store. I found those at Thrift City. One of my clients, Dr. Joe Hudak, his son Christian Hudak, sent me that He-Man as a gift. I found that Stridor in a thrift store. I've got Rick and Morty here in the background, and a little yak yak in the back. Little yak yak in the back. Some more retro play. There's some more turtle vehicles. The Wreck and Slam cycle with the Undertaker. There's a Godzilla I just recently purchased. And here's this massive Batman robot figure. This thing is so freaking cool. And then in the background here, I actually have the Batman Gotham City playset. This thing is about 4 feet tall. There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playset back there. Iron Man. And then in the very back here, got some vintage E.T. There's some vintage G.U.T.S still on the card. Alvin and the Chipmunks, the wind-up toys you saw down on the other shelf, I actually have them carded as well. And this 8-pack of Star Wars, I actually won that at an auction at a physical location of a Goodwill. So I got the whole card for 40 bucks. I won the auction on it. And there's also, sorry for the blue light and stuff. I know it's probably distorting the picture of the video a little bit. But there's my Spider-Man. And then back here, I've got some Star Wars Black Series, some Baby Yodas. There's some thumb wrestlers still on the card. And here are the real Ghostbusters. These are the ones from 2020. And there's some vintage Dick Tracy still on the card. We got Big Boy Capri and Dick Tracy. Here we've got Flash Gordon, Defenders of the Earth with Ming the Merciless. And then we have some carded Captain Power, Lord Dread, Lieutenant Tank Ellis, and Captain Power, Captain Jonathan Power himself. Here's a vintage Aladdin, the evil genie, what's he called? Evil Genie Jafar. Got him in a thrift store, got him at Goodwill actually. There's some Back to the Future, Bob Ross, Destro. Here's some of my wrestling figures. All of these guys were all found in a thrift store. Even the wrestling ring. Here are my vintage Dragon's Lair toys. So we got Dirk the Daring and Princess Daphne. That figure right there is the hottest figure ever made. And then we've got Singe the Dragon from Dragon's Lair. I got my Dragon's Lair lunchbox. I had a friend in school, in elementary school, that had this lunchbox, and I was so jealous of it. I wanted it so bad. Never got it, but I have it as an adult. Here's a few more dragons. Both of these found in a thrift store. And then I've got this vintage talking Mickey Mouse from the I think it's from 1986. My Mad magazines, I found all of these in a thrift shop in Sherman, Texas. And they are so cool. Like there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mike Tyson, Max Headroom. And then this recent find, the Ghost Striker G.I. Joe. So freaking cool. And then over here in this corner, I've got my Jurassic Collection, which I just showed that to you guys on a previous video. I'll link to that here at the end of this one if you want to check that out. And here's Stormtrooper Luke and his dad. All of this stuff, again, found in a thrift store. Now for some of my really rare toys. And these are vintage toys. These are from the 1930s. And this is Adolf Hitler being escorted in this vehicle by some German soldiers, Nazi soldiers. And then over here, this is Joseph Goebbels and Adolf Hitler. So Goebbels was his minister of propaganda. I'm a World War II and World War I enthusiast, and I got into collecting these toys a few years ago, and they are extremely rare. Like this Joseph Goebbels figurine over here, he came all the way from Germany. Very rare figures, and definitely up there in some of the toys that I prize the most. And then over here, we've got these figures. All right, guys, we're not quite done yet. I've got some more toys downstairs I need to show you. So let's head down to my office, and then I'll take you into the spare room and show you what we got in there. All right, so these are the toys I keep in my office. And again, you can see we've got more Sentinel-1 military vehicles. There's some McDonald's Pokemon cards there in the back. These vehicles were found in a thrift store. And there's Greedo. And then up here, I've got some more vintage Star Wars. And then this is my primary Star Wars collection over here. There we go. We'll get a little closer look. Those are all retros carded in the back. Those are not actual vintage, but the loose figures are vintage. And here I've got my Jabba's Palace. There's Yak Face in the back. Princess Leia, Salacious Crumb, Amon, Gamorrean Guard, Max Rebo. R2-D2. And then we've got the Bounty Hunters. And then here we have Rancor Keeper and the Rancor Monster. And we've got the Skiff with our boy Boba Fett, Han and Luke, Lando. And then down here we have the Emperor and Darth Vader. And then over here we've got the Ewoks with a biker scout and a speeder bike. And then down here I just have some miscellaneous items. Here's Batman in the Batcave with the Bat computer. We've got a micro figures, a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, some more military vehicles, Johnny Cash, Popeye, and the gang. And then I've got some Black Americana. This is a Aunt Jemima kitchen utensil holder. I recently found that in a thrift store. And then we've got Dapper Dan. And then my uncle gave this doll to me. There's some little figurines down below here as well that he also gave me, which I think are really cool. Definitely a part of history. And here are my G.I. Joe classifieds. So this is the first 5 that were released. And these are my McDonald's glasses. I had these as a kid, so these bring back a lot of memories. They're just a lot of fun. And we got this Hogan's Heroes game from Argentina. And then I found, this isn't a toy, but I found this Russian flask in a thrift store, which I thought was cool. And here's a 12-inch Biker Scout and some of my 6-inch figures. And then some of these carded figures here. Some are from The Mandalorian, some are retro Star Wars. And I ended up picking up these Blade Builder lightsabers from Goodwill a couple of weeks back. Okay, so last up, I've got one room left to show you. Let's head that way. Okay, guys, here it is. So these are all the toys that are not on display, and my wife has organized all of them. So there are a ton of Funkos in these boxes, as you can see, but there's also Star Wars action figures like here. And then we've got some wrestling figures and DuckTales, G.I. Joe 25th anniversary. So here's Shopkins, just mountains of Shopkins as well. There's some My Little Ponies from Build-A-Bear. That's from when Caroline was little. So if we go down here, we'll see we've got more Shopkins. We've got some plushies. Just more Star Wars. And then over here, we've got this closet and these bins like this one right here. If I pop this open, you can see they're just filled with Star Wars. So like this bin, and this bin are all Star Wars stuff. I'm not gonna bust all that stuff out. It'd take forever to go through it. All right, there you have it. As you can see, it's a lot of stuff, and it would be awesome to be able to display all of this stuff one day as well. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, this toy room tour video, as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I hope it brought a little joy to your heart. So if if you're new to the channel, you can smash that subscribe button and make sure you turn on notifications so that you're always first to be notified of the next episode. And I release episodes almost every single day. Also, like and comment on this video. Let me know of all the things that you saw in my collection, which one really stood out for you or maybe conjured up some really good memories for you. So leave a comment below. Also, give me a follow on Instagram at 80s Toys Rock, and rock is spelled R-O-C. In the meantime, I'll catch you on the flip side.